And it's Happy Father's Day today, and June 20th, 2021. You're welcome back here, and we are going to be going live with our speaker in the studio. Our speaker, Akinropo, is already here. We are going to have his profile played at some point when we get into the conversation. But since we are off here already, I'm going to add my guest. Akinropo, Akinola. I call him the foremost fatherhood coach around here in Nigeria, in Africa. I haven't seen any other one. And today, Akinropo is going to be talking about Daddy, Where Are You? By the way, that's the title of his book, right? Chedozie is somewhere fixing something in the background and will be here soon to moderate this session. I'm just filling in for a while. All right. So Akinropo is in the building. I'm going to add him. All right. He's the author of the book, Daddy, Where Are You? And the correspondent, book that also talks about mothers. He's the founder of Parent Map, Parenting Academy. Right. And he's going to be here. Like I said earlier, his profile will be flagged off soon. My team is trying to put that up, and I will allow him get the floor. All right, and we would flag off as soon as that is ready. We'll also play his profile for you. Boss, You're welcome to this place. Did I also tell you that
Hello,
he's a man that I love plenty?
good afternoon,
Welcome, sir.
Madam
Yes.
Wendy.
Welcome, sir. I'm gonna be off the studio, and when your profile is here, we will play in the middle of your conversation, and then you can just
Okay,
carry on, sir. Thank you for being here again
thank
because
you.
you were here last year.
Yes. Okay, good evening, every father in the house. Good evening, every mother in the house. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, our people in the studio. I'm talking about the crew members, the background crew members that we don't get to see of the intentional parenting group, ably chaired by Madam Wendy Ologe, the wife of one and only governor. Governor Kunle, I want to salute your courage. I want to salute your doggedness for giving our dear sister this opportunity to be of immense use in this space with renting and education. God bless you, sir. God bless your generation. God bless your children. God bless the works of your hand. At the same time, that reward it keeps increasing by the day. So we thank you for all the awesome support you've given our dear madam. God bless you. So without wasting much of the time, let me quickly just go straight. A bit of myself, what I do, actually being given by Madam Wendy, but let me just quickly say this because they say that if you don't, there's this thing in Yoruba land, they say, meaning that I don't even know how to literally translate that, but it means that the person should just do his own formal introduction by himself, meaning that I think he's the only one that can say it better. That is just what I can really figure out from there. So my name is Akinropo Akinola. I'm a parenting development strategist. And one mandate that I have is just simple, just one mandate to help parents increase the quality and methodology of nurturing African children as well as families into greatness. That is just the mandate I have. And with that mandate, a lot of things, a lot of products that we have put up, and part of that product is the book Daddy, Where Are You? Daddy, Where Are You came up in 2018, came up in form of hard copy. But now we made it in audio pack, in an audio pack, because people actually requested for it because we discovered that, from the surveys that we send, that what is it that why don't parents, fathers especially, read? And one of the topmost in that region of the area, the segment, what the result that featured most in that segment, not the segment, is the time. Fathers said that they don't really have time, 24/7 on the road, hold up, all manners. And I said, okay, no, but if that should be the case, there is a way out. And we decided to make this in an audio pack, meaning that it will help fathers' listening skills, it will help their eye, and at the same time, it will help them in time management. So you have this after now. How we're going to get it is going to be displayed here or even in the subsequent social media post. So simple. We want to talk about Daddy, Where Are You? We want to talk about Daddy, Where Are You? Daddy, Where Are You is a book that actually, addresses the pain points, the challenges, aspiration, worries, desires of fathers, uh, uh, you know, especially in Africa, Nigeria, because the fathers in Nigeria, they're facing the challenges they face are quite different from the challenges the fathers every other part of Africa are, or even in Europe, Americas, Asia, any area. In Nigeria, especially parents, we face peculiar challenges that are not, that we hardly find, and they will hardly find in any other areas. And that is why this book is tailor-made towards Nigerian fathers, by and large, African fathers, the worries, aspirations, the challenges. So a lot of areas that fathers are going through, a lot of challenges they're going through that they hardly speak. And that's why this book contains 6 chapters, and every chapter is laced with case in point. There is no case in point in a chapter that resembles the other one, because the 16 chapters represent 16 challenges that fathers are going through. So I believe that after now, we may make ourselves available to get it. So that is one of the challenges that I'm going to be speaking here right now. But that challenges was not actually captured in this book, but some prerequisites. There are some prerequisites to some challenges. And that's why in my earlier webinar I did now, like I did 1, 3 to 4, is about fatherhood as well. I did say something that context precedes conduct. Context precedes conduct, meaning that every behavior that our children exhibit at all, there was a context behind it. So our children reacted or responded to a context or to context before the conduct. So what we see outside was just the conduct. So what we see fathers exhibiting is just a conduct. As the case may be, just a conduct. There is a context that preceded that conduct. So one of the contexts that preceded that conduct is what I want to discuss here today. And that's why I want every father in house to really pay attention. And if we know any father that is not in the house right now listening to this, please let's share this message onto them so that they can hear and grasp the wisdom behind today's topic. So why is this? The theme for this fathers conference is the involved father. The involved father. And I want to say, with due respect to all the fathers in the house, or the fathers that will still be listening to this message even after now, that in my area, in my entire life, I came into fatherhood 17 years ago. That was when I came into fatherhood. My daughter is going to be 17 by July 13. She's going to be 17. So I came into fatherhood. I've seen a lot of fathers struggling, working hard just to make sure that the home front is well kept, is well tidy, is well taken care of. I've never seen any father that is so lazy. I've never seen any father that is so lazy, but I have seen many fathers that is only hardworking in something that is not so productive. Let me say that again. I've never seen any father that is so lazy in my entire life that I've been crisscrossing the road around, even when I started this assignment, 2011, areas that I've visited, people that I've spoken, that I've interacted with, I have never met any father that is so lazy. I've never met any father that is not so committed, to the cause of fatherhood. But I have seen many fathers who are only hardworking in an unproductive venture or in unproductive ventures. And we begin to talk about this now. So in talking about this topic today, the involved father, I have a metaphor which I'm going to explain on that I've put here to drive home the wisdom behind the involved father. The metaphor is the half-hearted mountain climber. The half-hearted mountain climber. So,
sorry, boss. Before you go on, please, let's just quickly play your profile, and then we continue in a moment. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Akinropo Akinola. Mr. Akinropo Akinola is a passionate catalyst for change, who has the mandate to increase the quality of parenting and the methodology of nurturing African children, as well as families, into greatness, while maximizing their full potential. His track record on advocacy on parenting can be traced across sectors, following the need to consolidate diverse projects, efforts, and intervention within the parenting space. Mr. Akinropo chose to spearhead a major groundbreaking feat by setting up the foremost school of parenting. He is an accounting graduate from the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Ogun State, Nigeria, and had a short stint in the banking industry from 2001 to 2005. He later started a private business in financial brokerage in October 2005. Akinropo has practicing certificates in neuro-linguistic programming, public speaking, business consulting, child care, parenting and family advocacy, education consulting, a Habitat Gen Z Facilitator certification from Growing Leaders, Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Akinropo Akinola is a consultant, speaker, trainer, parent coach, and also an experienced counselor. His work with several families and youth has earned him a respectable place within education and society. He had been involved in youth counseling before he was called into the parenting ministry in 2011. He is a member of Nigeria Institute of Management. He is the author of the fast-growing inspired work tools for fathers to raise real men in today's boys. Daddy, where are you? His latest works for mothers, Mommy, No Excuses, is a book that focuses on mothers' strategy for complementing and not competing with their husbands in parenting and marriage. He is the founder and lead researcher at Parent Mark School of Parenting. The school is driven by the need to increase social awareness and equipping of parents to meet up to the demanding realities of 21st century parenting. Ladies and gentlemen, Akinropo Akinola.
Awesome.
Boss.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Narrator. I appreciate you. God bless you for the voice. And I pray that voice will be heard over mountains of the world in the name of Jesus. In so much, the intentional parenting group will always be known all over the world, and is already been known now. So I was talking about one of the contexts, that defines the conduct of fathers in the journey of fatherhood. One of the contexts, one of those things that actually defined the conduct, like I did say, that context will always precede the conduct. What we get to see about some of us fathers are the conduct, but not many people get to see the context. So the context that we don't get to see is what I want to talk about today. And I was talking about the half-hearted mountain climber, because what we want to talk about is the involved father. And there can never be commitment without involvement. There can never be commitment without involvement. And I did say the other time that I've never met any father that is so lazy. I've never met any father that is not so committed to the development of fatherhood, not so committed to the development of the children. But the way we go about it may be wrong or may not be so suiting, for the particular child or the children that God has given unto us, right? And I did mention again that in so much that I've never seen any father that is so lazy, but I've seen many father that is only hardworking in an unworthy venture or in unworthy ventures or in unproductive ventures. I have seen many fathers in my journey of fatherhood since 17 years ago. As I started this about 10 years ago, I started in 2011, crisscrossed some areas in this country, in Nigeria, some states, and I've seen so much fathers, so many of them, excuse me, that are so passionate, that are so intentional about the institution of fatherhood, but they are doing it the wrong way. So one of those things that perhaps they don't know is what I want to talk about now. And that's why I'm using a metaphor to drive the wisdom behind today's meeting. And the metaphor I want to use is the half-hearted mountain climber. The half-hearted mountain climber, because mountain climbers never reach the top of the mountain on accident. Please, let's get this right. Mountain climbers never reach the top of the mountain on accident. It requires total commitment to the goal. If anyone has seen any hiker before, and I was saying I actually wanted to do that. It's something I really like. I've never experienced it. But sometimes ago when I was in Abuja on a project like this, I actually had scheduled my time to go on hiking, with some friends that I met there. But because of the schedule of the project, did not allow me. But what I've done now is the next time I'm in Abuja, I'm going hiking It's an experience I really want to really have because of the scenario around it, because of the documentary I've watched, some books I've read about hiking, about mountain climbing, and how the wisdom behind mountain climbers can actually shape our narrative, shape our mind for the best as fathers, as parents, as leaders, as someone who is ready, who is intentional about the worthy cause God has committed into their hands as huge as parenting and education. So we need experience like that. I was saying, mountain climbers never reach the top of the mountain on accident. It requires total commitment to the goal. So the same thing, fathers are the same. We cannot have involvement without commitment. It goes with the territory. Without commitment, we cannot have the involvement father. We cannot have it. Fathers are the same. We cannot have involvement without commitment. Commitment goes with the territory of fatherhood. Commitment goes with the territory of the involved fathers. We can't be involved without being committed to the cause. Then how do we get committed to the cause? Let me quickly run us through the story of these half-hearted mountain climbers, right? Let me quickly read it out from what I was able to scoop out. Now, there is a famous mountain climbing resort in Switzerland that caters to groups, There's a resort that caters for groups who wants to go on hiking. They went and ascend the beautiful mountain, although it's an 8-hour trek to the top. The climb builds as groups help each other reach the summit. In the morning, climbers are usually very passionate. The same way some of us fathers, at the earliest stage of our fatherhood, we are so passionate. We are so passionate like these climbers. We are so passionate, almost everything that we want to do. Oh, we are so happy. Oh, we post it on Facebook. Oh, I'm now a father. I'm now a father. We look at the baby, we're so happy. We look at the mother, we're so happy. We carry every one of them around the same way these mountain climbers are so passionate. At the early stage, when they gather themselves at the foot of the mountain, everybody was ready. They want to move. They want to go hiking. They're happy. They're greeting themselves, exchanging pleasantries, They just so much love it because at the stage of every project, everybody is happy. Everybody likes to, to take on to experience a different terrain away from what they're used to. So the same thing happens to us in fatherhood, and the same thing that what happened to these guys. Now, when they were going approximately halfway up to the mountain, when they get up to the average, when they got to the half of the mountain, in this particular area, to make everything easy for them, they have some restaurants where people eat. They take, hot chocolate just to negate the effect of the cold around them. So as they get to that particular side where they have restaurant, almost half of the mountain, right? Some of them ate, some of them drank, some of them took the hot chocolate, they gisted with themselves. At the point they're doing that, what happened? Some of them got tired. Some of them got tired. Almost half of people that started the mountain that were excited about this, they were happy that they want to take up a new journey, got into the middle of the park, got into the middle of the mountain because of the hot chocolate, because of the restaurant. They got tired. They got they saw a new level of comfort. They saw a new level of comfort. And when I look at these mountain climbers, that is something I always remember in the Bible. The Bible says, "Woe unto them that are at ease in Zion." Woe unto them that are at ease in Zion. That's not where we're going, right? But where we're going is how fathers have allowed a little comfort to derail our journey of becoming the involved father. So others went ahead, they climbed the mountain, and they got to the peak of it. Those ones that started the journey, they wanted to be involved, right? But in a bid for them to be involved, they missed being committed to the cause of climbing mountain. How many of us fathers that I see are happy at the base of the journey, at the start of the journey, We were so happy that we have become fathers. Some people were happy because, oh, at last, I can father a child. Oh, at last, so I am not impotent. Oh, at last, I can procreate. Oh, at least I have attained a certain status, in the society. That is where the journey ends. That is where the journey ends. For us to get it over, it now became difficult because of the small comfort that we experienced at the middle of the pack of the day. Now, let me now say this. The day I came across the meaning of mediocre, that day I was so displeased with myself that anytime I'm not able to do something well, I look at myself as a mediocre, and I know the meaning of mediocre. Guess what? The meaning of mediocre came from the point that people that started to climb the rock and they got into the middle of the rock. That writer said the middle of the rock is called mediocre. So people that got stuck, that stayed in the middle of the rock while climbing the rock, they are mediocres. That was where that name mediocre came from. So those people were involved, but they were not committed. They half-hearted mountain climbers, they were involved, but they were not committed. So anytime we want to be involved in the institution of fatherhood as fathers, but we are not committed, there is no way we can be involved. We can't be the involved father. We can't be the involved fathers. And I see immediately the post came out, I can tell you thousands of fathers who saw this will be saying that, oh, I am involved father. I am the involved father. Oh, it's good to be involved. You need to be, this is the mantra, in our lips. Oh, you need to be involved as fathers. You need to be involved in everything your child does, in everything, you need to be involved. But how committed are we to the cause of the fatherhood? And that is what I want to discuss about now, because a lot of things that get some fathers, behind, that made them not to go further, that made them to be mediocre, because staying in the middle of the rock, that's the meaning of mediocre, that made them to stay in the middle of the rock. We will discuss about it. In the middle of the rock, when those guys got there, they met some friends, they met some people, they went for hot chocolate, they were eating, they were partying, they were gisting, while some other people that they started this journey all the same time, they said that it was time for them to just take one cup of hot chocolate. Let us just go back. And when I came across this research, that now took me to when I went on a Jerusalem pilgrimage in 2009. When you were climbing Mount Sinai, something happened, because at the base of Mount Sinai, you have the hot tea, the hot coffee, everything hot, because it was during the winter, and it was so hot. At the base of the mountain, the temperature was -5. So when you take hot tea like this, when you take it, hot tea just coming from the fire, hot, before you want to put it in your mouth, if you are not so careful, so fast enough, the thing gets cold easily. At the moment, the thing rose to -10, -15. So we need to drink it. We need to drink and move up again. But guess what? So we started early in the journey. Then again, in the middle of the rock, in the cave, we still have some restaurant where, in case you are tired, then you take hot tea. Again, you have some people that smoke. We have, all those, excuse me, the Egyptians, they smoke, just to warm up. When you ask them, they say they want to warm up. Well, guess what? Many people that we started together, they sat down in the middle of the rock. I didn't know the meaning of the mediocre then. I didn't know. But I put it upon myself that what is the essence of starting this journey if I will not be able to get to the top where Father Moses received the template of the 10 Commandments, that tablet. I really wanted to see it, and I made sure that I made it to the top. And when we're coming down, those guys that couldn't make it to the top, we still saw them. So the same way, when those guys climbed the mountain, when they got there, they were now looking at them, how when they were given the medal, that they excel in it. Now, what are those things that made us not to be committed? Even though we really wanted to be involved, we want to be involved, almost everything. We like all those titles. Excuse me. We love all those titles. We want to be involved. I want to be involved. Yeah, I'm involved for the father. I want to follow my children to everywhere they go. Those things don't make us involved. And I'm going to explain something here now. What are the impediments to commitment? What are the impediments to commitment? The impediment to commitment that made us not to really be involved intentionally, number one of them is ideas. Ideas. I ask this question: what is the idea of fatherhood as explained to us by our fathers? What is the idea of fatherhood as explained to us by our fathers? If you belong to this part of the world, Africa, Nigeria, you will agree with me that when we were growing up, the idea of fatherhood is someone who is financially responsible to the upbringing of the home, who is financially responsible to the family. That is the idea of fatherhood. That is what they told us the fatherhood is. That is what they told us the fatherhood is. They didn't tell us that fatherhood needs to be involved, needs to be committed. And again, fatherhood needs to have a relationship with the children. Fatherhood needs to like go extra mile. Fatherhood needs to sacrifice, right? They didn't tell us, but some fathers back in the days, they still sacrifice. But what was really engraved, the narrative they gave us back in the days was the idea that for you to be effective father, for you to be a man that has the control of his home under his armpit, that has the control of the home under his pocket, under, that has firm control, grip control of the home, is someone who is financially capable in the home. Isn't that true? Exactly. That is what they told us what fatherhood is. So that is idea, among others. They told us that fatherhood is all about. That idea has every way to shape our thinking. Look at what I wrote here. On that ideas, we perceive an issue by the way we think about it. We perceive an issue by the way we think about it. And that, has to do with our minds. So once we believe that the whole essence of being a father is just to provide for the home alone financially, whatever that happens to the children, whatever that happens to our wives, don't really matter to us. That's why it's so easy for us fathers, so some fathers, not many of us here, and I believe so much, especially not any father that belongs to the intentional parenting group, I can vouch for us because of many teachings that we get to read, on the Facebook group. Facebook group. I don't think we still have any father that is in our midst that believes that its relevance in the home starts and stops at providing money for the home alone. So in so much we believe in that idea, they will always have a way to shape us because it involves our mind. So what the mind is capable of doing is limitless. It's limitless. It's limitless, but at the same time, it can expand. So when it expands, that is when we begin to think of the other ways. That's when we begin to think that the only thing we need to do is just to be financially available in the home alone. You don't know what happens to the children. So the next thing is opinions. Opinions here, we begin to express our preferences on that issue. So once you have the idea, you believe the idea, and it's formed and abled by the power of the mind, the next thing is opinions. Once we see that, we begin to express our preferences on it, and we begin to say that this is what I am going to do. This is what I am going to do. I'm not going to go further than that. Remember, they have mountain climber. What happened to them? They were excited at the beginning of the race, at the beginning of climbing. They were so happy exchanging pleasantries. The way some of us, exchange pleasantries when we become fathers, the way some of us really so happy. We post it on Facebook that we are now fathers, begin to call people, oh, he's a boy, oh, he's a girl, oh, I have twins, all those things. The excitement is always there. For anyone that wants to start a new journey, it's always there, like all those mountain climbers. But when they got to the middle of the park, when they got to the middle of the rock, the middle of the mountain, where ordinarily the resort and management really provided that, not that you get and sit down, but just to, to liven yourself up, to strengthen yourself up, take hot chocolate because it's during winter, it's cold up there. Get some hot chocolate, move up. Some people got hot chocolate, they stayed. They didn't go further. Some people ate, they didn't go further. Some people saw relatives, they didn't go further. Some people saw all manners of distractions, they didn't go further and they stopped. The same way ideas and opinions can affect us. And opinions are always involve our emotions. Opinions will always involve our emotions. Guess what? The first one, which is ideas, involve our mind. Opinions will always involve our emotion. At emotional level, many fathers get stuck. Many fathers didn't want to commit further. They wanted to be the involved father at the initial stage, but when emotion got the best of them, they stayed at the middle of the path. Emotions thrive based on how we have built the ideas, how we have loved the ideas with our mind. The idea of only the money that I put in on the table makes me a good father. So you go from morning till night. Hello, and there's nothing wrong in this. Without money, fatherhood, the institution of fatherhood is stale. I mean, we won't really enjoy it, but it doesn't stop there, right? So at that level of the opinions, which involves our emotions, because we begin to express our preferences on our decisions, and one of them is financial buoyancy, and one of them is seeing friends, both male and females. We get distracted easily because of the emotions. We didn't know how to leave some people behind us. I put it to us as fathers, at the journey of fatherhood, in the journey of fatherhood, in the journey of mountain climbing in fatherhood, when we get to the middle of the park, a lot of people that we will need to leave behind, a lot of men, a lot of fathers, a lot of friends that we need to leave behind, because the journey is still far. Reaching the top of the mountain is still far. But based on our emotions, we failed at the middle of the park and we couldn't continue the journey because emotions are involved. And the last one, there are actually 6, but let me just make it 3. And the third one, that is belief system. This involves our mind and emotions. So anything that involves the mind and emotions, and when you did not train your mind, you did not train your emotions are good. There's nothing wrong with emotion, but raw emotions are bad. Raw emotions are bad in fatherhood. Raw emotions are bad in fatherhood. That's why when you mix the mind and those emotions, when you mix them together, what you have negative belief system. And that is when anything happens to any child, some fathers are so quick to put the blame on the mothers because their minds and emotions are involved. They've built it on the ideas their ancestors handed over to them, built it on the opinion that involves the emotions. Then the last one, which is belief system. So we have negative belief system because you have negative mindset and you have negative mindset with raw emotions. When you have those things, you will always stop at where you will always stop at the middle of the pack. And I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. Excuse me. Fathers can do anything, but we can't do everything. Fathers can do anything, but fathers can't do everything. One of those things that fathers can't do is to build the home of your children. One of those things that fathers can't do is to choose for your children the discipline, to choose for them their purpose in life. One of those things fathers can't do is to choose for your children who to marry. But you can do anything in raising them up. You can do anything in getting involved in their lives. You can do anything in making them to pursue right educational career. You can do anything in channeling them towards right towards the right pattern in choosing their purpose in life. You can do anything in providing enabling environment for them, for the children to thrive, for wife to thrive, right? You can do anything in that region, but you can't do everything. It is not everything that fathers can do. And I've made mention of one of those things that fathers can do. Now, those three areas, that is how commitment works. That is how commitment works. Then, in rounding off in the next 5 minutes now, what are the words that sum up our commitment in order to become the involved father? What are those things that what are the words that sum up commitment for us to become the involved father? There are three. Then one of them is sacrifice. One of them is sacrifice. What does it mean to sacrifice? Set aside your own pleasure and comfort. When we set aside our own comfort and pleasure, we will get to the peak of the mountain of fatherhood. We will not be like the half-hearted mountain climber that stopped at the middle of the park, at the middle of the rock. Those ones that saw the enjoyment, the aura. So let me say this, let me put it across to us fathers. Those people that stops at the level of the middle of the park, at the level where they take chocolate, hot chocolate, they eat, they do all those things. That is the level where fathers experience what? Experience midlife crisis. Many of us fathers experience midlife crisis at the level of comfort. When we at the comfort zone, then we experience the midlife crisis. Some people get stuck in that place. Some people die, and some people go ahead. When I experienced my midlife crisis at the middle of the mountain climbing, it was like the whole world, collapsed on me. That was what it felt. But because of the decisions I decided to take, because of the fact that I knew where I was going, the fact that I was so obvious, I knew what God has in store for me. But I just knew again that it was as a result of distractions that I allowed within me that wanted to make me get stuck in the middle of the mountain climbing. That is what midlife crisis, that's why some people get stuck at the level of midlife crisis. We were excited at the beginning of mountain climbing. At the beginning of the journey of fatherhood, we were excited. 1 year, 2 years, we were excited, we were happy. We love to go with our children, but when the comfort zone gets to us, when we needed to take hot chocolate so that we can go ahead, when we needed to refresh ourselves, when we needed, to eat, to relate with friends, to belong to social clubs, to belong to everything, we soon forget how excited we were at the moment. We soon forget that we have decided, we have agreed that we are going to be involved in the struggle of fatherhood. We got stuck. We couldn't go further again. Now, one of those words that sum up is sacrifice. Like I did say, how many of us are able to sacrifice our pleasure, our preferences that were forced upon us based on the opinions, based on the emotions, based on the ideas of what our forefathers handed over to us? And I tell parents, I tell anyone that cares to listen, that the culture, tradition, and everything that was handed over to us were not without the input of those ones that made it. They were not without their input. So those culture and traditions are not independent variables of the personal opinion of those our forefathers. So my ancestors who had died 200 years ago put it there that women must be the only ones that are responsible for the upbringing of the children. The only thing fathers are allowed to do is to put money down. So those ancestors made those culture, they made those traditions just to suit their purpose at that particular time, 200 years ago. So we can't say those traditions that that suited the purpose of the ancestors back in the days are still the same thing that we will always do. Now, I see many husbands, telling the wife that this is Africa. This is Africa. You are a woman, you are a wife, and this is what you're supposed to be doing. No, no, no. In the context of what we have today, in the context of the experience that we get today, the way the world is, we have to be careful in assigning roles to fathers and assigning roles to mothers. We have to be careful. One of those roles they assigned to us is one of the challenges. Gave back to one of the challenges that fatherhood is getting now. And that challenge is when you have fathers who are not involved, when you have fathers that only said that his only involvement starts and end in providing money for the home alone. That is because because we have the assigned role. So how many of us fathers can sacrifice for our children? How many of us can do that? So we must be able to sacrifice. If we are not able to sacrifice, we won't be able to climb the mountain of fatherhood. Otherwise, we will stop at the middle of the path, middle of the rock. And guess what? When we stop at the middle of the rock, we are just mediocres. I don't want any fathers to be mediocre, because the future, the history will not be on our side when our children are writing the history of our life. And I did say, where were the fathers of Nigeria 50 years ago, 60 years ago? Did they envisage what we are seeing now? Is an eyesore. Is an eyesore. We have a man that's president. Almost all our governors, all of them are men. They are fathers. Almost senators. I don't know the percentage now. I don't think the female senators are up to 30%. Same with state legislature and legislative arm, all those things. I don't think so. Almost 70% are men. What do we get now? What do we get? And these guys are fathers. What do we get? Why haven't they done what were the fathers 60 years ago? What were they thinking? I don't want a story whereby in the next 40 years, our grandchildren too will be saying, I don't even know what fatherhood did these people talk about. How come we're experiencing what we're experiencing now? So we need to do better. We need to do better. We need to sacrifice. And sacrifice entails a lot. If you can't sacrifice, you won't be able to climb. You won't be able to climb up to the mountain of fatherhood. Then the second one, purpose. Purpose. Set aside your own place. Oh, so sorry. Purpose has to do with find your reason for being alive. Find your reason for being alive. Purpose. Find your reason for being alive. Hello. Let me cite one example here. I stumbled on a research about 5 years ago, research on fatherhood. That research took me to a place in South Africa, right? And in South Africa, we have miners in that place. Okay. Now, and I read it there that I saw it, in one of their museums. I didn't go there. I read it online. And what happened? There was a man, a father, he was a miner. He was always going to the minefield. But when he went, he was always with his son, one of his sons. The son will always stay at a safer place when this man will go further with co-miners. So this man and, this men, they were mining for almost 2 years, and they were only able to just get fuel. One of these days, where the guy was sitting, the boy kept digging. When the man came back, the man will always, what are you doing? The man will always tell the boy that if you really want to hit gold, in mining, you need to go deeper, like they used to go. But wait, when you are grown up enough, you'll be able to do that. The boy said, okay, Dad, I've heard you. This boy kept digging. One day, this guy dug and found a precious stone that none of those miners had ever found it before. And that precious stone worth about $200 million, right? That was the estimate at that particular time. So at that particular time, they carried this boy, and the whole the South Africa government celebrated the guy because of the purpose that the man found. Our children are capable of cutting their own teeth of purpose through what we do. They may not do what we're doing. Their purpose will be in alignment with what we do. It's possible, but at times it may not be. So if it is not, but the fact that they see us wake up every day, we do this, they see us speak, they see us go to the office, and they see us do some stuff. Some of us, some that are pastors, they see their parents ministers on the altar. Some that are Muslim, they see their parents, teaching some other Islamic scholars, all those things. Some women that are school owners, they see their parents. Some women that are speaking for the society, some women that are taking one way or the other, they see the parents do all these things. When they see us do all these things, because we've known our purpose, the purpose of creation, why God created us, they too will always know that this thing that my dad is doing, there is a way for me to have my purpose. There is a way for me to have the lead into discovering, my purpose in life again. I see people will always say that there's no need of discovering the purpose. This is not the topic. The topic we're doing today is not the main focus of that. But I want to put it across to us that did I say almost? I'm sorry. Every man on earth, every woman on earth has a purpose to pursue. It's possible you get your own through God's revelation, and it's possible you get your own through quality mentorship. There's a way that you'll always get this. But what I really want fathers to know is fathers need to find their area of purpose, the purpose of their creation. The template, that is what I call it, the template of their creation, the certificate of their creation. They need to obtain it. Once they obtain it, it will serve as a lead for children as well, to get their own. That is when we are involved, because we are involved because we allowed them to see into their own purpose in life again, right? Then the third one, which is determination. Determination means that follow through on your decision until they are complete. Follow through on your decision until they are complete. In the webinar I had 3 to 4 p.m. today, if someone asked a question, because I said it, that I'm not going to say these are the roles of fathers, because I want fathers and mothers to sit down, husband and wife to sit down, what do we think we can do in this house? But nevertheless, while we are doing that, we need to set up our culture and custom. That is what drives fatherhood, culture and customs. And the question was, okay, fathers, in case we have done many things, we've set up culture and custom, values, boundaries, and the children are still not doing what they're supposed to do. What do we do? And I told them, keep doing the right thing. Those culture, value system that you have set, keep pursuing them, keep doing the right thing, stay the course, don't back down. Those children that you think they're not listening to you, I want to let you know they are listening to you. By the time they grow out of you, that is when you will see how great of the deposit that you have given them. Let me quickly cite this example and I round off. What about the Lord Jesus Christ? When Jesus Christ was still very much alive, when he was fasting, they saw Jesus fasting, but these disciples never fasted. Some people even came to them that they saw the disciples of John the Baptist fasting, but your own disciples are eating. Jesus told them, he said, don't worry, it's because he's alive, he's around with them. But when the man is taken away from them, they will know how to do it. This guy did it randomly after the death, the resurrection and ascension of the Lord Jesus Christ to heaven. These were the people who couldn't do anything, but immediately after the fire fell upon them, fire will not fall upon them if there was no connection, if there was not already wood inside of them. They've already built that wood, they've already cut that, and that's why we're talking about the purpose. So I want to beg up fathers to please be determined enough, follow through the process, follow through the system that you have put in place. The system that you have put in place will always channel, will always give them options, will always give them, will always give children options on how to achieve the value system, on how to achieve many things in life. The system may not be a casting stone. The system may not be just a one-way traffic, right? But it will offer them options. So I want to beg parents, I want to beg fathers that for you to stay the course, for you to continue to be the informed father, we need to sacrifice. We need to obtain our purpose, the purpose of your creation. We need to obtain it, and we need to have determination. Determination so that we will not be the half-hearted mountain climber who got stuck in the middle of the path. They did not receive their word, but at the same time, they were only able to look at those guys that made it to the top, and they saw them getting the award. If you have not learned anything in this live session today, don't forget that metaphor. The half-hearted mountain climber. They are the one who got involved initially because they want to be the involved father, but they failed to commit all their sacrifices, the purpose and the determination that it desires for them, or that it is required of them for them to be the involved father. So at this point, I want to stop and allow questions to come in, questions and contributions. Again, I want to thank my madam. I want to thank her always. You know, in my place, we call them Obinibiokomi, as in a woman like a man. And that is one of those things they told us. That is one of those roles, deficient roles they told us. Because what they meant was the only people that is allowed, the only category of gender that's allowed to perform excellently well are the men. So when back in the days, when they saw women performing excellently in the place of men, they said, like a woman like a man. That is a wrong narration. Is a wrong narration. So I'm not going to say that, Madam Wendy. I'm just going to say that you are just a woman excelling in what God has committed into your hand, doing it with all necessary zeal, necessary focus, necessary sacrifice, purpose, and determination. I want to thank you. My wife has gone, represented us in the house fellowship. I even said she was going to come aboard to see you, to say hi. Now come and see the woman that is just giving us a nudge to move ahead. So God bless you, Madam Wendy Ologe. And at the same time, Governor Kunle, I want to see Governor Kunle online. If he's around, please tell him to come on board. I want to see him.
Thank you so much, boss. He's getting ready to be in the live stream for 6 o'clock. So I guess he will be coming up at 6:05 for the session, so that we can also take questions for your session. Thank you so much, sir. We do not take your appearing in split seconds for granted. We are grateful. Mr. Akinropo has been a great supporter of the Intentional Parents Academy from day one, and it's not something that we take for granted. Thank you so much, boss. We are grateful. Chidozie is in the studio, so I'm going to be off the stream. Chidozie is going to moderate the Q&A and the conversations thereof.
Okay.
You are muted, Chidozie. You need to unmute yourself. You are muted. You are muted, please.
Sorry about that. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Uncle.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that amazing session on getting fathers involved. I think the question, most of the conversations around what we have had from the beginning of the session up to today, you have begun to throw a lot of light about it. Daddy, where are you? And I got the point where you talked about, men that are hardworking, or yes, they are doing something, but they're not, putting that effort in the right direction. I was just looking out on the chat to see if we have any question, but I think you talked about it, but maybe I would like to hear you more on that. When we talk about, men and money is most of the reasons that we give for not being available in the home. The tide has to change. But in our generation, where we are now having even the women in most cases, earn more money than their husbands. We had a stay-at-home dad joining us in the conversation yesterday, changing the mindset of men, because there's also this thing about fear. I think it was Andre that was talking yesterday about the fear, why men abandon their responsibilities and then they run away from the home. The fear of responsibility. So how we begin to balance all of this is maybe you would help us more in that conversation. But thank you so much for your presentation this night. I was blessed personally. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So let me explain that again. Who would have thought that in the world of today, maybe people have thought that in Western world, but so let's come to Africa now, let's come to Nigeria, most especially. Who would have thought that in Nigeria of today, in the last 15 years, that we will be seeing women, rising to the top of their career, that will be seeing women even acknowledged, verifying as, rooted in Africa, right? Who will have thought? So, back in the days, everything was centered, all the excellencies, everything centered around men. That's why in Yoruba, they came up with that proverb. Is it proverb now or just a statement? A statement that when they see a woman excelling very well, when they saw a strong woman, doing something with all zeal, with almost everything, every breath in her, they say, "Obìnrin bí ọkùnrin," like a woman like a man. Why that statement? Why that statement? A woman like a woman that who God has called her to be. But because they never envisaged, they never saw the need for a woman to behave as a man. They never saw the need for a woman to want to really excel as a man. They never saw the need for a woman to really want to be in charge in the home as a man. They never saw it whereby one day, they never envisaged that one day a woman will sit on top of a conglomerate, commanding millions, commanding billions of money, commanding, resources available to her. You understand? Running a country very well, running an organization very well, is because they never saw it. And that's why before people begin to work on that wrong narrative again, before they begin to say a woman has turned her husband to the houseboy.
Yeah.
So we quickly need to address it. And the way we address it is this, that you as a man, your responsibility does not start and end in providing finance for the home alone. And that is why when some men now see that they are unable to do this, maybe because of micro and macro economic challenges in the world, or in Nigeria, they see themselves as a colossal failure. I've seen many areas, I've read it where, because of the account of that, some men some men have committed suicide. I see on account of that, some men have run away from home. See, let me say this. During my midlife crisis, right, about 12 years ago, during my midlife crisis, I thought of this. That I was a colossal failure, that why I should have allowed this woman, my wife, to stay in a home. I should have brought these two children to this world, because almost everything crumbled upon me. But when I looked at myself very well, I discovered that it was as a result of of what I allowed to get at me at the middle of the path. Of what I allowed to get myself, what I get myself distracted over. When I got to the middle of the mountain, when I was climbing the mountain, at the comfort zone, a lot of things will always happen at that level. Do you understand? So it was when I discovered myself in that area, I said, no. I will not allow this thing to weigh me down. This is a midlife crisis. It has come, it's a fate, and it must go. A lot of men get stuck at this point. So the advice I will give men is this. so that you don't allow unnecessary financial burden to weigh you down, to give you an impression for you to want to, to run out of the home, or to want to commit suicide, or to want to do some silly things. Please allow your wife to thrive in the areas God has chosen for them.
Wow.
Allow them to thrive, because you will know that woman, that wife may be the one that will bail the family out. But a woman that you have suppressed, a woman that you have subdued based on ideas, opinions, and your belief system will not be there to pull you up, because that woman had been suppressed. You've confined that woman to that traditional role of raising your children for you. So when you allow that, that is a problem. I'm not saying men should not look for money. Till tomorrow, I'm still looking for money. I walk around the clock to look for money, but I don't allow that at the expense of my children. I don't allow that. Yesterday was Saturday. On Wednesday, I got a call from a school owner friend, and wanted me to come and speak to their father. And she told me, and don't worry, I'm going to give you this. I've been following you. I like what you do. I said, Madam, as much as I need the money, I'm sorry, but I need to take my daughter to go and write JAMB. I said, I need to take my daughter. So when I look at the money, I said, can I order for a taxify that I know very well to take my daughter there and wait and bring my daughter back? Even I can still afford 20,000 naira out of the money they want to give me. I just told that thought. I said, get you behind me, devil. I don't need it. I don't need. So I told the woman, I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I am sorry. I won't be able to come to honor the invitation, because I want to take my daughter. I want to take my daughter to go and write JAMB. So that's one of the sacrifices. Once in a while, we can do that, but we still run after the money. But aside that, I want to advise all fathers to connect with their purpose. When you connect with the purpose of your creation, you run less after the money. You run less after the money. Connect to the purpose. Let your wife connect to the purpose, and everything, the synergy will work out well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that amazing. And Ibadan, I see your question, and I think that's the question that he has just treated. We need to change that culture and that old belief that we have come up with as men, and redirect our belief system to allow the family to thrive. On that note, we're going to round up this session. We have overshot our time by so many minutes, and we're going to get into the next session. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate this session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akinropo. It was such an amazing time. Thank you so much for your time. If you want to get Mr. Akinropo's book, Daddy, Where Are You? Please make sure that you reach out to him. Daddy, Where Are You? His handle is Akinropo Akinola. You can find him anywhere on social media. If you also want to reach out, we also will be sharing emails of all our speakers so that you can follow them. We need to run. Remember that you can get our worksheets and our guide on the fatherhood. And we are getting into the last session, which is now. The governor is coming up as we finish right now. He's going to be up on the next session. So thank you so much, Mr. Akinropo, as we accede to the next session. All right, team. See you in the next room.